I think it's impossible for the media to be honest. I really do. So now they're not being fully honest about Melania Trump. Melania Trump defends women's abortion rights in upcoming memoir. So I think Melania is like probably one of the classiest women in America. I do. The way she handled herself through all that hateful press all the time, and she always, did it with such class and dignity, and the way she protected Barron because he was just a kid, and you had those hateful Hollywood and media people even going after him, and she would kill that right away, man. She went after them. But otherwise, you never saw her on a cover, but they threw that beast, Michelle Obama, on every damn cover. Yet this beautiful woman, who is as intelligent, as brilliant as her husband, she speaks 5 languages. I mean, she's just never given, any credit. So, but I want to clear this up because already TMZ is coming out saying that, like, she's totally on the opposite side of her husband. Not really. No, she's not. She stands because, and it's pretty much the same place Donald Trump has. The media has carried on about that Trump will put a nationwide abortion ban in. No, he won't. He won't. He said anything that came to his desk like that, he'd veto it. I'll read what he said, but first I want to say exactly what her memoir says, because what the media is trying to do is make it seem like her and Donald are on complete opposite sides of this, and I would say no, they're not really. So it says here, the former First Lady notes there are legitimate reasons for a woman to choose to have an abortion, such as the instances of rape, incest, or if the mother's life is in danger from the pregnancy. This is exactly what I've been saying, because the people that are the problem with this issue when it comes to abortion is the far left, because they want it, even if they want it a late-term abortion just for late-term abortion's sake. So that's a sacrificial thing. That's where your Planned Parenthood becomes a big problem. Then there's the far right, though, okay? And they're both of those extremes are heartless people. Everybody thinks, oh, Candace Owens is a good Christian, or Allie Beth Stuckey. No, they're heartless women. They're heartless women that think that they're somehow standing on God's word, and they don't even know God's word. They don't, because, again, God said he will judge by the heart. They don't have enough heart to consider that there should be exceptions. I mean, Allie Beth Stuckey goes as far as to carry on about the IVF. I mean, and Trump said he'd make IVF free. But, that those are little they go to such an extreme that they're the kind of Christians that I can't stand. So I can't, and I'm a Christian, but because I'm a real Christian. You should, if you're going to call yourself a Christian, have a heart. And if you have a heart, then there should be exceptions when it comes to abortion. The other thing, and she makes this point, is what right does anybody have to inject themselves into this? That's what I can't stand about that far right either. It's like, this is whatever, everybody, has to face their own judgment someday, okay? But that said, I don't think that we should have the Planned Parent thing, but it should be at the states. Let the states decide. But when you have this far-right Christian that just wants to inject itself in everybody's life, it's like, please stop calling yourself Christian, because you make the rest of us look bad, because not all of us are as crazy right as you. So she said, it is imperative to guarantee that women have autonomy and in deciding their preferences of having children based on their own convictions, free of any intervention or pressure from the government. Melania continues to question why anyone other than the woman should be given the power to determine what she does with her own body. Absolutely. Why should anyone other than the woman herself have the power to determine what she does with her own body? A woman's fundamental right of individual liberty to her own life grants her the authority to terminate her pregnancy if she wishes. The pro-abortion stance from the former First Lady comes as they're just saying as the Democrat Party is suggesting that Donald Trump will put in a nationwide abortion ban. And so Donald Trump had posted this in all caps. He said, everyone knows, and they do. Anybody that follows Donald Trump, he has said this for everyone. I mean, he said this forever. Everyone knows I would not support a federal abortion ban under any circumstances, and I would in fact veto it because it is up to the states to decide based on the will of their voters, the will of the people, like Ronald Reagan before me. I fully support the 3 exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I do not support the Democrats' radical position of late-term abortion, like as an example, in the 7th, 8th, or 9th month, or in case there is any question, the possibility of an execution of the baby after birth. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, because that's what I forget which governor a while back was talking about it and said if the baby does live and the mother wanted to kill it, then we'll keep the baby alive long enough for the mother to decide, and then we'll execute it basically if she decides. Well, at that point, that's murder, okay? So that's why he's saying that. But that far left is just as bad as that far right. I said I worked at a place that dealt with high-risk pregnancy many, many years ago. They were a bunch of OB doctors. All of their patients pretty much were high-risk pregnancies. That's why women came to them. And so there were those instances. They weren't often, but they told the mother, you have the option to terminate here because the baby has a hole in its heart and it could be the 6th month, or her life was in danger. And yet we would get these Christian protesters outside, and so I've never had much respect for the people that pray outside the abortion clinics. I think they're just trying to be like holy rollers, like they're so special or something, because God says, pray in your closet. So I don't know. I didn't have any respect for them because they didn't understand apparently that women weren't just coming in off the street doing late-term abortions. No, there was a strict criteria for it. And it was very obvious, like the hole in the heart is seen on the, x-ray, and that there was no chance it could go to term, that the mother's life was in danger. She pretty much is on the same side as her husband. But I think, too, what she's trying to say is, why does anybody else have a right to interfere in this? And that's really rather true, especially in a free country. I mean, you can judge somebody else, and I'm not for this, the Planned Parenthoods everywhere, and that should be able to, because the Planned Parenthoods were out of control with the body part stuff, okay? So I get that. I get it. But that said, now that it's back at the state level, there shouldn't be so much of that's the reason it should have never been a federal issue anyway. But the problem with the issue of abortion is the far right Christians who think they care and they don't, and the far left who think they care and they don't. Neither of those extremes care. I consider them both pretty lunatics, and I consider them both without a heart. Somebody that has a heart can recognize, no, there is times when there should be exceptions. You should not force a child that gets pregnant to have a baby. Charlie Kirk would say you should. Somebody that doesn't have a heart, doesn't understand God's word, doesn't understand that Judgment Day, God is going to say, where was your heart in this issue? Because you know what, we really don't tell me the life is, God says this. No, the life, to God, the life begins once the spirit. You don't have the spirit once you're born. You don't. That's why Jesus said you have to be born again. That's why Jesus said it was more important. The first death didn't matter so much. It was really, the first death was because it's the physical. Because once you were born, you were going to have to go and be born again. Basically, because you would have to have the spirit. So the baby doesn't have the spirit. And I think that that's something that's between God and that person. So I've done videos about this. The far left, the far right, they're a hopeless group. They're a hopeless group. They don't realize they're both heartless. They both think that they stand on, or one thinks they stand on God's word. The other thinks that they care. Neither care. But it's good to see that at least Melania and Trump, which is why I love Donald Trump and I've always loved Melania, is both are common sense people. This is a common sense issue. Should you have late-term abortion just so anybody can go in and kill their baby in the 9th month? No. But there should be exceptions. Be in the middle. It's only the people with common sense that are in the middle. Obviously.